this is the finished makeup. So I just realized I completely forgot to talk over the videos that I just took. So in the first video, I was using a primer for my skin because I always prime. Oops, I don't know what that was, but I always prime my skin before I put on makeup, especially since I have dry skin. So I use the Glow Recipe Plump Plump Hyaluronic Serum Focus. And then I always do my concealer first, and I use the NARS concealer, the Radiant Creamy Concealer. And I always conceal like my dark circles, and I have a lot of acne at the moment, so I will always conceal my acne first. Now for concealing my acne, I will use my biggest beauty blender. And for my under eye concealer, I use my little mini beauty blender. It just kind of lets me get into all the little crevices. Now for foundation, I use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation in the shade 3. I am quite pale, but this is it here. Now I don't really use much at all because I prefer a more natural look, so I usually just do one pump onto my beauty blender and just kind of dot it where on the face I think I will need it. And then I always start with the neck. You always want to make sure that you blend your foundation into your neck. And then I just start taking it around the face, starting with the cheeks. Make sure you get your ears as well. So while I kind of let my foundation sit into my skin a little bit, I do my brows. I just use a MAC brow pencil, and this is like so old and probably so expired, but it still works. But I use the Chi Chi brow pomade in the shade medium brown. It's just like a little cheap one that you can get from Target, and it's literally exactly the same as the Anastasia Beverly Hills one, but like half the price. And I just wet it, and I use my MAC Fix and like the Prep and Prime, and I just do a little spray, and that just kind of wets the product a little bit, just makes it glide onto the skin a bit smoother. And then I basically just outline my brows. So I am testing out a new product today that I have literally never used before. I've never even used this type of product before, but it is a contour bronzer stick, and this one is from Rare Beauty, if you can see there. So this is Selena Gomez's brand, and it kind of just looks like this, and you just kind of draw it on. Now I have never used this before, so kind of bear with me. We'll see how it looks. And I saw someone on TikTok say that you should always, normally people would put their bronzer here, but I've been seeing people being like putting it where would you kind of normally put your blush or highlighter, and it just kind of like lifts your face and kind of gives you like a facelift. So I'm going to try that out today. Okay, to be honest, that actually looks really, really good. Okay, so I am definitely a big fan of this. I don't like to have too much going on. I just like a little kind of subtle bronze, and I think that did the job really nicely. So I also use a liquid cream blush. So I'm currently using the NARS liquid blush in the shade Orgasm. Now this is literally my favorite product at the moment because you don't even need much. So I just take my tiny little beauty sponge and I literally just dab it onto the rim, and that's all the product you need. And then I just kind of start here and follow up, and then I just blend it into the cheeks and all through the cheekbones, and I just do it nice and high, and I even take it up the corner a little bit. But this just kind of adds a little bit of warmth to the face. And for me, as someone who's got dry skin and acne problems, I just find using a liquid rather than a powder just sits better on my face, and it doesn't crease as much, and it just looks nicer, to be honest. So next is highlighter, and I use the Charlotte Tilbury highlighter wand, and I don't even know if this has a shade, to be honest. Shade Spotlight. And so this just kind of like squeezes out, and I literally just squeeze a little bit onto my beauty blender like that, and I just go just slightly above where I would have put that blush before. and just kind of dot it and blend it out. Now I'll do this on both sides, and I also do a little bit on the bridge of my nose. Okay, so that's basically like my base done. I like to keep it very natural and just simple. And so I'm gonna move on to my eyes now, and I literally, like, I'm not the greatest at makeup, so I literally will do the same look every single time, but I basically use the Jeffree Star Orgy palette. This palette is probably one of my favorites just because it's so warm toned, but it's basically just all of these like cool tone browns. So I will always take this Vanilla Latex shade here, and this will be my base for my eyeshadow. And I just pop that all over the lid, just like that. And it just kind of gives a base for my next lot of eyeshadow to work from. So then I will mix the shades Safe Sex and Top together, and this will be my crease color. And once I'm done with that, I will mix the shades Craving Chocolate and Booby Trap together and kind of put it on the outside and just take it across into the crease. And then finally, I will take a little bit of Happy Ending. It's a cool toned brown shade down the bottom here, just like the tiniest bit, and just pop it right on the end just to create a little bit of a smokiness on that outer corner of the eyeshadow. Okay, so for the color on the lid, I have got the Masquerade palette by Juvia's Place. Now this is an amazing palette. It's so pigmented and so vibrant and colorful, but I take this bottom left shade here, and I just have like a flat eyeshadow brush, and I just pack it on that, and then I just basically put it, if you can see here, I just pop it all over the lid and just coat that entire lid with this beautiful warm light gold shade, and just the shimmer just kind of really picks up the rest of the makeup. Okay, so I just did my lashes off camera because I'm just not very good at them. But for those of you wondering what I use the Huda Beauty Samantha lashes, and then I cut them in half, and I literally just use the ends to put on the ends of my eye. I just like that sort of fox eye effect, and I still have got to add mascara once they've dried. But while that glue is drying and they're just kind of sitting there, I'm going to pop on my lipstick, and I use the MAC lipstick in the shade Modesty. I literally will only wear this or red lipstick. Those are the only two lipsticks I will ever wear, just because the colors are so perfect for my complexion. So that is lipstick done. So I'm going to finish off my eye makeup now. So the next thing I would always do is I do eyeshadow underneath my eyes. So I'm just going to go back to that palette I was using earlier. And the shades that I use to do the crease, so the two that I mixed together, Safe Sex and Top, I'm going to take the shade Top just a little bit. And I basically just put this eyeshadow underneath my eye, and it basically just kind of connects my top layer of eyeshadow to underneath my eyes. Now, once I've done that, I will do eyeliner. Now, I like to use a black liner on my lash line, and I know a lot of people don't really do that anymore, but for me, I like making my eyes like the focal point of my face when I do makeup, and just having the black liner, it just kind of creates this like smoky cat eye look. So I use the Natasha Denona Macrotech Eye Crayon, and this is the black shade, and I love this. It literally just glides on like paint. So this is kind of a little bit gross, and I know some people would use a beauty blender to do this, but I literally just kind of like pull my eye down and just kind of draw on my lash line. And then I just go in with a little highlighter, like a gold sort of highlighter shade around my inner corners and under my brow bone. With that eyeliner before, I also took the eyeliner that I did here, I connected it into this part of the eye, just like kind of to connect the eyes together. So this is my Huda Beauty highlighter palette. I've had this for years, and clearly this is my favorite shade. But I literally just take a little bit of that and then a tiny little bit of the white shade and mix them together. And then I just pop that in the corner of my eye, and it just kind of makes my eye pop. I'm not really sure if you can see on camera, but it just kind of like opens up your eyes and makes them look bigger and more open and more awake. And then I do the same thing and I just pop that on my brow bone just here, just underneath on the edges. And I just do a tiny little bit on my lip as well, and then just a little bit on the top of my nose. This is the Tarte Big Ego mascara. So I will do this on my bottom lashes because I don't like to have too much mascara on my bottom lashes because it smudges everywhere, especially because I'm going to dance tonight and that's what the makeup's for. So just like one little coat. And then I take the L'Oreal Telescopic mascara. You can get this from any chemist. Now, this one, I just like to do a little bit of it. It just makes your eyelashes look really, really long. So I like to do this on my upper lashes where I don't have the extensions on. So kind of in the corners here, just to kind of make them a bit longer. It does get a little bit clumpy after a while. That's why I use it for a little bit. But I basically see these like little lashes here. That's basically where I will put the mascara. So just in like the inner corner. So this is the finished makeup. And this is just kind of like my everyday makeup. Basically, I do this makeup whenever I have to wear makeup because I don't really wear it that often. But so for photo shoots, events, and when I dance, this is the look that I will do. And it works for me. And yeah, that's kind of how I do my makeup.